So today I got a lot of stories to tell, right? But today I found out one of my stories that I've always asked myself my question, and I've always demanded, why did my life turn out the way it turned out? See, a lot of people complain that you don't have a father, but I did have a father. I did have someone that loved me and fucking made me who I am. Not only did he teach me how to drive, how to work, how to be responsible, how to have my obligations and have my responsibilities though. I mean, to this day, my father's unique. My father's one of a kind. Um, you could say the way I grew up, it was kind of difficult because, see, I grew up in the Roanoke Garden Projects. Then my mom and my dad got separated. Then my dad ended up taking over the San Fernando Swami. So we had money, we had everything, we had luxury, we had todo, you know what I mean? And my dad's been a tough guy, y toda la cosa. He's a wise guy, you know what I mean? So I don't know at what point did my life fucking went to berserk. Uh, my dad has always loved me and cared for me and always been strict and in every occasion that you could think of, you know. So we should all be grateful to a parent like that, you know. Pero pero something happened along the lines, and I've been asking myself that question, and that question revolves in what happened, what occurred, what dramatic thing changed my life. See, I was involved with my tío Pepe and my dad, the swap meets, and I would have been probably successful and happy in life. I didn't have that hate that I have now, you know. So I've been trying to talk to my dad, and my dad been throwing me off on the real story. What happened? What occurred? What dramatic thing evolved us and changed us? You know. To me, Mago and everything. To me, it did a drastic change in my life. So I'm sorry, Vanessa, and I'm sorry. So I'm not the best parent, the best father in the world. Look, I tried. My dad showed us a lot of love. He took us to Santa's Village, Lake Arrowhead, Lake Mead. He he did everything, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, y toda la cosa. My dad's a family guy. Yeah, I am a family guy también, you know. So I called my dad today. I don't know what today is, but I called him today, and he's been agreeing for me to interview him. But this topic, for whatever reason, he wants to forget or he forgot. You know what I mean? In order to move on in life, and to me, it marks the beginning. Right? It marks the beginning of what my life was gonna occur, what my life was gonna be, from having Carrillo Danés or having the swap meet and having my Tio Pepe, and from being who I was, you know. Several things happened to mold me and change me. I bought my Ford Escort when I was like 12 and a half, 13, you know. And I used to work for my Tio Pepe because one magical day, my Tio Pepe came with Conchita and they pulled over on our fucking pole, you know what I mean? Which is outside our gate. And he asked me, he asked my dad if we could go go with him. My dad said no, but I'm gonna send my son with you, which is me, you know what I mean? And I was like 12 and a half. And I remember we went to San Diego. I ended up driving his brand new truck, his Ford, you know? It was previously owned by Oscar, pero my Tio Pepe co-signed for him, and and they're keeping the truck. So I ended up driving to San Diego with him, and we ended up delivering. I don't know why, for what occurrence, he asked me. By that time, my tío Pepe was living in Van Horn, Conchita and him, and my grandma and everybody. And he was going through a lot of struggles in life, whatever, you know. See, my tío Pepe can't drive like long roads. So my tío Pepe went to my dad, and my dad told him I could drive for him. I was only 12 and a half, 13, 14 years, you know. So to me, it was the most magical day. Not only did I drive, which anybody would have paid for, right? But he also gave me money. He gave me like $50, right? That day I got some tips and everything, you know. So my life changed, you know. That summer, my dad started losing the San Fernando Swami todo, and I've told all you guys a story about me and Jojo. We went to the city hall and we ended up robbing the permits, whatever. We end up falsifying all the paperwork and all, pero we end up losing the Swami to Mr. Ricardo. He didn't want to co-sign or nothing. I also told you the story why he didn't. He felt betrayed by my dad. He felt that my dad wasn't living up to expectations. You know what I mean? And my tia Maria ended up getting sick and passing away. Whatever, you know. Everybody knows the story, so I don't wanna redeem or reminisce the story. But my dad did an error. He went against my tío Ricardo. My tío Ricardo raised my dad, or my dad told me a story that he bought into sleep well, toda la cosa, which is admirable and respectable todo because we live there and we've taken advantage of whatever my tío Ricardo owned, right? My dad's been living there for the past 40 years, you know? It seems like that, you know? But I just want to reminisce and I want to talk about how my life started and how it changed. Well, my dad, he started stealing trailers, and him and Saulio and my uncle Jojo and all. And at the end, they ended up trying to do their own. They ended up stealing right here off of Firestone, the 710, which is Southgate. They ended up stealing a truck. They ended up tying them up and toda la cosa, you know? The whole story. The guy ended up getting untied because Jojo tied him up. He wasn't like us, you know what I mean? He wasn't a furniture man, you know? He ended up escaping and calling his son and following my dad. And my dad ended up going through, I think through Florence. And then he ended up going to Berta's house. He went to the alley and then dropped off Jojo, and then he took off. My dad ended up getting busted on Slauson with a AMPM that, and never gave up my uncle Jojo or anybody. He has palabra and toda la cosa. Well, the topic of the story was they ended up using the ghetto car, and the ghetto car was it was a red Pontiac. I ended up signing up to Sal, Rachel and Sal. After Rachel, she got pregnant with little Brian, but with Sal, they ended up buying the Pontiac. And our relationship grew from there, right? They ended up stealing that car right there in Hunter Park. Me and Rachel and Sal went out to the show and they ended up stealing the car. But long story short, my life changed that day, and it drastically changed. And I'm trying to have a conversation with my dad, but my dad doesn't want to go through the conversation. So I was going to Wilson, and so I must have been like 16 years old, right? I was hanging around with my tío, 15, 16, right? I was hanging with my tío Miguel, Jojo, and all. I had the family fucking, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, you know? Pero my dad ended up robbing that trailer, and so it wasn't the first, it wasn't the second, it wasn't the third, it was like the fourth trailer, you know? So he thought he could get away with it. So then the game busted right there at the MPM, right there off on Slauson in California. And my life changed because I defended my dad and I believed in my dad. And regardless of the situation, um, he's my dad. And I was always going to defend him and be there for him, his protector, his son, his junior. I'm junior, you know? And we ended up going to court. He told me, Tia Maria. Billy ended up putting the money. And everybody loved my dad. Everybody wanted to help him, he told. Pero Billy ended up doing a lot. I can't say how much she did, but she did a lot. It probably cost her her life, he thought. But she didn't care about money. She lived with respect and honor. You know what I mean? So my dad ended up getting busted, and then that's how my life started hanging around with Michael and Jojo y toda la cosa. Then you know the story about Jaime and about my mom living in a garage. She ended up being with Gavi and the whole 9 yards, you know. My life started from there. We had difficulties with the cuates, you know. Jaime, rest in peace, and Pancho went to jail y todo. So I started hanging around with him. We used to live by then in Orchard. Me, Miguel, and Oralia. Oralia used to come cook octopus and cook fucking real food, you know. I never had that. I admired my tío Miguel for having someone that really was worth the while. Maybe that's why I went to Mexico and I wanted to find you, Mavi, you know. But you won't like that. You never live up to expectations, you know. I do love you and I do miss you at all, but you weren't like them. You weren't Ophelia. Ophelia to me was a person that was like that. That would have lived up to expectations, toda la cosa. Pero beyond that, Vero Morales was like that. Irene Luna was like that. I know that you're probably gonna hear the messages y toda la cosa, but it's okay, mija. Your mom grew, right? She became more, you could say more understanding, though. That's why we get along now, right? Well, coming back to my horrible story, how I dysfunctionally got out of control and had to go through a lot of stuff to grow up and survive. Yeah, survive. I didn't have no family structure. I didn't have nobody that uh, guiding me. My tío Roberto tried, but I burst out on him and I disrespected him and I fucked up his drugs and I did everything possible to screw up my future, you know? Which I can't say it was wrong and I was right because my primo Ricky passed away. Steven passed away and Freddie is no good to nothing. Yvette's no good to nothing. I mean, they have a good job, don't get it wrong. But all I'm saying that we struggle. My tia Maria and my tia Pili and me, we end up going to court right there off in Norwalk, you know. We end up fighting your case and all that. They brought it down from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you know. They end up bringing it down to like a couple years, you know. You did like 2 or 3 years, you know. In that time, my brother Giorgio was born y toda la cosa. Don't get it wrong. I don't hate none of this, you know? And I don't hate my dad. I love my dad. And I respect him, admire him, and I'm happy to know that he's my dad. Things, for whatever reason, got out of control and I became who I became, you know? I'm not hateful of who I am or what I've done. I've never really done nothing drastically. Just a casual gangster. Yes, I robbed, I gangbang, and I did what I had to do, and I fought a lot, and I did a lot of shit, and my life didn't get fucked up fully, alright? And the reason it didn't get fucked up was because my dad instrument guidance and structure in my life, and my tío Jojo, Miguel, and everybody always influenced me and always guided me towards the right path. And I was always tough enough and I was strong enough to avoid conflicts that really got me into a situation that I can't resolve. So I've always fought my way and I always been tough and I always known street smarts. I'm street smarts, I'm fucking guidance, I have todo. Mavi hates me for the reason that I'm street smarts and mija, I raised you street smarts. And now I know that you don't talk to me, mija, like the way you're supposed to, but I guided you towards street smarts. Everything else you're getting towards your mom. But I just want you to understand that my life changed. So I've been asking my dad for an interview and guidance in life. Yes, I interviewed him how I was born and all the little kid play that you want to know, but I want to know how or why he abandoned us, why he did what he did, and he wants to forget it. Which I understand. And I end up my dad ended up getting busted. I've been hanging around with my tío Miguel, Jojo, and my tío Pepe, the Swami. And my life turned out to be different. Yes, I became sort of a thug, alright? Not a gangster, a thug. And I was street smart, and I could get by, and I never thought of joining a gang. I never thought of giving up in life. I always thought I could handle myself. And the homies and the gangsters that I knew, that I grew up around, never intimidated me or never expected me to do more than what I had to. I just want everybody to know that I chose my life. I honestly did. After all the inconvenience or all the obstacles that I faced in life, I made the best out of myself. I never went to jail or I never did hard time or never got in a gang, never lost my brothers and sisters. I never lost my respect. Fíjate lo que digo. Never lost my respect. And I just want everybody to know that once my dad got out, well, before he got out, I visited him and all over there in Georgetown, Jamestown, or whatever you call it, over by Sacramento y toda la cosa. I end up being responsible and taking over my family and showing them that I honestly believed in them and trusted them. And I wanted to be a big brother and show them respect and show them how to get by in life. So as time grew, my dad ended up getting out of jail at all. And my dad ended up coming out like strong and tough. My dad always wanted to abandon us and leave to Washington. To this day, he still tells Mago that one of these days he's just gonna take out to Washington. He, I don't know how to say it, but he's always been sort of a coward, all right, coward. And I'm not afraid to say it. He's tough, he's vicious, he's aggressive, he has a demand, but once the tough gets going, he wants to give up and leave. Maybe that's where I get it from, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm not a coward. Yeah, I'm a coward, and maybe that's why I've never been as tough as I expected to be, but I put in the work. I put in toda la palabra y toda la cosa. I don't run away from situations. I handle them, you know what I mean? My dad, he handles them también, but in his wording, he speaks of leaving. So we ended up getting out. Um, Me and my dad ended up having like 2 3 years of falling out, and me and my grandma, Abuelita Carmen, we ended up falling out. And yes, that's the time I spoke to all you guys that we had inconvenience and we had respectful for one another, but I never raised my voice or anything. I just kept myself away. And whenever she tried to like wind me in, I didn't allow her. She ended up getting sick and she ended up dying, and that's how my story starts with Ophelia and all that. But in reality, my story starts with my dad. He abandoned us and he left us out there in the blindfold. I guess if everybody is used to uh, being alone and not having a father figure in your life, you thought I was I had a father figure. I had something to be proud of. I had something to be respectable for. And my dad, to me, influenced me and guided me towards a lot of future. But I guess drastic changes happen. And whatever I did um, to this day uh, was try to be the best person for my brothers and sisters and for Mago and for everybody. I never believed in stepbrothers and stepsisters, so I believe in brothers and sisters. That's it. And I've always told everybody, and everybody's always looked at me like I'm a little cuckoo. But in reality, I've always fought for my brothers and sisters. I've always meant the best for them, and I've showed them that with courage, with strength, and respect, you get along. And my dad, I ended up fighting my dad. I ended up beating him up and breaking his ribs and all. And every time I talk to him, I noticed that he bows down. He don't have that inner energy because he knows what I'm capable of. He knows who I am. So I don't want nobody to think that my dad's a coward or a pussy or lo que sea. My dad's the toughest motherfucker I could ever live up to. He's down, he's crazy, he's gone to jail, he's never ratted, he's never which is great. But I just wanted everybody to know that my life changed that day. Drastically. And when he got out, he wanted to abandon us. You guys gotta keep this in mind. My mother abandoned us for 4 or 5 years over there in New Mexico. So I wasn't ready to accept that my dad was gonna abandon me. I would have done anything, and I did everything. Popped out my tia's tires, my tio Ricardo, and I became a beast. I became a gangster. I was a gangster without barrio. I was raised in the projects, living in El Sereno. I was raised by thugs and gangsters and family members that were from barrios. To me, I didn't give a fuck about all that. Like I was telling Johnny, I grew up in El Sereno, right there in the working at Alhambra, with Pifas, El Vaquero, El Chupitos, and fucking Aldo, and fucking Gerardo, and fucking Jaime, and Lencho, and Big John, and Killer, and fucking other thugs that whatever we became tough. I mean, I used to fight them, box them, and I was a gangster. I was a gangster. No one could handle me. I was like tough. I was a beast. And people still look at me like an idol or like a fucking warrior. Well, yeah, my tias, my primas, and everybody always challenging me and always expecting more of me, but I don't know how to say it. The drastic moments that my life changed was when my dad went in jail. And to this day, I asked my dad, hey, I want to interview you. And he hides that from everybody. everybody. He wants to forget about it y todo. The sad problem is that we all lived it. He could forget about it, but we can't. That was our beginning, our structure. And I just want to tell everybody, especially you, Vanessa, you're lucky that you have a great dad, a great mom, and you didn't grow up through all the bullshit that we went up through. You didn't grow up in those struggles in the 90s, gang banging, green lights, toda la cosa, you know? We had to get by, we had to become something, you know? And not saying that it was horrible. To me, it was awesome. It was awesome being a gangster and being tough, fighting, and living up to expectation, being around my tío Miguel and going to San Luis, Mexicali, Arkansas, Oklahoma. It was awesome being around thugs and famous people like Chalino and fucking Lupillo and Rivera and fucking being with Las Perras and it was awesome being Adrian con Jeringas, Pacha. It was awesome being in TJ, Rosarito, Ensenada, Yuma, San Luis, Mexicali, going through all the cartels, going through all the fucking wars when they killed the Colosio and how they killed a lot of friends and a lot of family members passed away, like Pancho, Fernie, how they fucking they used to do Chiva and how we used to fucking try to help them out, get IVs on them and get nurses and all, trying to get them back on reality, but they ended up killing everybody, and everybody ended up dying. Jeringas, Pachas y todo, Miguel, everybody ended up going to jail. My primos, Panchos y todo, everybody ended up dying, going in jail and doing some heavy time. My tío Miguel Cisneros and everything, they ended up doing a lot of time. And I didn't believe in that, and I've always worked and I've always been responsible and I've always achieved everything I wanted in life. Well, the message today that I want everybody to know, the moment my life changed, I can't regret it. I can't regret it, but I could say, mija, that I lived it, I survived it, I got stabbed, I've had a lot of friends die, toda la cosa. And I don't regret nothing. If I had to live it over again, I would. And I wouldn't change anything. Yes, I go through a lot of loneliness, depressions, and anxiety, toda la cosa, mija. Don't get it wrong. Things I would have changed with Snoops and buying, Paris and fucking Villain and Trusty and Big George and those and my tias and my tios, and I would have changed a lot, yeah. But there's nothing we could do. We either learn to accept it and move on. So, mija, I know when my life changed. I know why it changed. And I've tried everything to show you love and giving you nothing but attention y toda la cosa, mija, pero I know that I failed you and I got no words, I wish I could be lovable, huggable, and understanding toda la cosa. See, to me, when they took me to El Grullo, it wasn't like you, mija, they took you to Naya. They took me to El Grullo because they didn't want me. They didn't think I was worth the person I was. And they tried giving me away, in other words, mija, tried to give me another life. And when you go to Tonaya and when you are a monk, I try to teach you love and as a vacation, yeah. I wasn't as a vacation. It was like they didn't want me. I wasn't accepted. I wasn't misunderstood y toda la cosa, mija. That's why I fought a lot. And the stories of El Grullo and all that you hear about me, you hear the good things, mija, but you don't hear who I was. I was a vicious kid. I was an anger kid. I was an aggressive kid. I had a lot of hate, a lot of, ¿cómo te puedo decir, mija? And what you got with Tonaya, mija, it's nothing but love. Nothing but affection, toda la cosa, mija. And I just want you to understand, mija. Nothing over there is ever gonna bring you happiness. The only happiness you're ever gonna have, mija, is being yourself and being unique and having your own experience, mija. I tried giving you all that, mija. I tried giving you a family. I tried giving you a father and mother y todo. I chose your mother for you, mija, pero I chose wrong, mija. I chose wrong. And I just want you to understand, mija, that I'm sorry if I chose wrong and I did things wrong and I wasn't ready um, to change my life for you, mija. I wasn't ready to put my head down and bow down to their rules, mija. I don't bow down to nobody. And I know you, mija, you don't bow down to nobody. That's why I teach you respect and knowledge. And life is short, mija. Life's real short. Uh, if I could tell you, or I could give you an advice, mija, follow your dreams. Don't be ashamed and follow through, mija. Learn to forgive and forget. Learn how to move on, alright, mija? Because life's short. And if you have a lot of hate, all you're gonna do is cause yourself conflict, problems, and you're not gonna be able to move on. See, me, mija, I learned how to move on. I learned how to have conflict. And you know why I did? Women. Women, mija. I had a lot of girlfriends. I had a lot of that. A lot of times I could have done a lot of harm and do a lot of pendejadas, but I was in between the legs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hopefully, when you're hearing this message, I'm old. You're older and you understand. So I learned how to my anger todo, give it all to the girls. You know. I've never really been a vicious anger person. You know, the only person that I kind of disrespected was your mom. Yeah. Was because I'm not used to people confronting me, Mia, and your mom confronting me. And she didn't choose me. She chose everything else but me. And I reflected. Yeah, I'm vicious. I'm misunderstood or aggressive, you know? But I say things right, Mia. I say the way they are. That's why your mom don't hate me, Mia. She chose wrong, Mia. But I forgive her. And I love her. And she's the best woman in my life. And I'm happy to say it now after I went through a divorce and I haven't seen you and talked to you at all, that she's the best woman in the world. And I don't have nothing against her. I love her. I love being around her. I'm not good enough, yeah. But that doesn't mean that I give up in life or doesn't mean that I do pendejadas. No, mija, al contrario. I gotta meet different girls and do what I gotta do to be alive, mija, mejor dicho, you know? So don't hate my past, mija. Don't be grudgeful, don't be hateful, don't be judgmental, don't blame it on me, mija. I had a bad childhood, but I had an awesome childhood. I wouldn't change it for anything, mija, alright? Well, this story, like I said, it's the moment that I knew my life changed. And I accepted it. And I've asked for the questions and I asked my dad y toda la cosa. And no one, no one's willing to give me the answers. Mateo Pepe, he's Mateo Pepe and I love him. He's getting sick now y todo. And he wanted the best for me. He wanted me to be successful but to his ways, his convenience. And it didn't happen like that. And yeah, if, if if in one time I was ever proud or if I was ever someone important in my life, was when you were born, mija. You changed my life. I wasn't in love with your mom, mija. And I know you're probably gonna hate me for it. I tried giving her everything, but she wasn't in love with me tampoco. And with time, we grew to be fond of one another and respect one another and love one another and be with one another. She's my yin, I'm her yang, you know. But that's what I'm hoping. But mija, I just want to tell you, I don't regret nothing in my life. I don't I don't hate anything I've done or anything I haven't accomplished because I accomplished whatever I want. And I know the future, if I live, mija, if I live, it's great. And I don't have no regrets or anything. It's just part of life. But, mija, I just wanted to tell you, I love you, mija. I'll always love you. And just giving you a little portion of my heart, of my life. And not that I regret it, but the evil part, the hateful part, the abandoned part, the part that you get discouraged in life, you know? So, mija, I love you, and I hope these stories, one of these days you get to hear them, and you don't have to ask nobody. You'll have me to tell you all the stories. I love you, right?